Good morning students, welcome back to my channel. As in my last class I have discussed about electric flux and Gauss law. So in today's class we are going to discuss the application of Gauss law, and it is very important because in most of the board examination a long question is usually asked from this application of Gauss law. So basically there are 5 applications. We will deal with each applications. So my first application is we have to find electric field, and the electric field due to infinite long charged wire. Just remember, we have already know the value of this electric field, but in that case I haven't used Gauss law. If you remember in my previous lecture I find out the electric field without using Gauss law, but this time I can use the Gauss law, and with the help of this Gauss law I have to find electric field due to infinite long charged wire. So my first of all work is to consider an infinite long charged wire. So let us consider. So this is a wire and it is charged wire. So let's consider the wire is positively charged. As the length of this wire is infinite, so we cannot cover the complete length. So we just have to take a segment of this wire. So we just cover a small segment of length L. Because if you know that if we have to use the gauze, we have to enclose the charge. So we just consider a cylinder. What this cylinder is doing? This cylinder is enclosing some of the charges. Let the length of the cylinder be L and the radius of the cylinder be R. Now we have to find the electric field. Now if you remember, there are 3 surfaces: top surface, curved surface and bottom surface. If we talk about the top surface, now look at this surface. Let's name it as surface S1. If this is my surface S1, area vector is perpendicular and outward. This will be the area vector, and the direction of electric field is also outward. This is positive charge, electric field moves outward. So in this case your theta angle between them is 90. Suppose this is second surface S2, this is curved surface, and let a small segment of the surface, area vector perpendicular and outward, and electric field is also coming outward direction. Both are in same direction, so this is 0 degree. If talk about third surface S3, so the area vector will be perpendicular and outward, and electric field will be in this direction. So again both are perpendicular. I have taken the 3 parts now. So net electric flux, as we know the formula of electric flux is integration of vector E dot dA. Now here see, we are integrating the surface, and how many surfaces we are having? Top surface, curved surface and bottom surface. So we have to integrate this flux for 3 times. First of all we will integrate it for surface S1, vector E dot dA. Second time we will integrate it for surface S2, vector E dot dA, and third time we will integrate it for surface S3, vector E dot dA. Now look carefully for the surface S1. If we remove this dot product, we know cos theta is there. So for S1 theta is 90, so here we will get cos 90 plus integration E dA. This is for the surface second. Look at the second surface, theta is 0, both are in same direction. And look at the third surface. Again in third surface both are perpendicular, so it will be E dA cos 90. If you remember, cos 90 0, cos 90 0. So this complete term will be equal to 0, and this term will be also equal to 0. We have to just solve this term. Cos 0 is 1, so it will become E times of integration dA. Now which surface it is? Second surface, and you know the second surface is the curved surface area. If you remember the curved surface area of a cylinder, it is 2 pi RL. Sometimes you can also write H if the height of the cylinder is H. We have considered L, so 2 pi RL. So name it at equation first. According to the concept of electric flux, I have find the total flux E into 2 pi RL. Now using Gauss theorem, what does Gauss state? So according to Gauss law, if you have to find the total flux, it means total charge divided by epsilon naught. So from equation first we are also obtaining flux, and from equation second also we are obtaining flux. So we just equate both these two equations. So on equating equation first and second, if we equate both the equation, we will get E into 2 pi RL equals to total charge divided by epsilon naught. So your electric field is equals to total charge 2 pi epsilon naught times of RL. So this is one of the form. Now since we remember, if you remember linear charge density, see here we have considered a wire. So for the wire, linear charge density lambda is equals to Q by L. So we can replace Q by L with lambda. So look in this equation. So our electric field equals to, instead of this Q by L, we can write lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught R. So this is the expression for electric field due to infinite length of wire. We have already find this without using Gauss. That was too complex. We have to use integration and substitution method. But with the help of Gauss law, this derivation becomes quite easy. So just go through this. Just look at two more things. Let us draw two graphs. Electric field versus R and electric field versus lambda. Just look from this formula. Electric field and lambda, direct relation, and electric field with R, it is inverse relation. So electric field and R is inverse relation. So this will be the graph of electric field with R, and electric field and lambda, direct relation. So this will be the relation of E and lambda. So just remember these two graph also. So moving to the next application. So my second application is again electric field, but this time due to infinite charge non-conducting sheet. Second application is for non-conducting sheet, and the third application will become for conducting sheet. So let's first deal with the non-conducting sheet. So first of all, let us consider a sheet, non-conducting sheet. Let size of the sheet is infinite, and we have given some charge to the sheet. Now we know that we cannot enclose the complete sheet. So just we have take a small surface area of the sheet. Let the area of the sheet is A. This is a small area which I have to consider. And if I am using Gauss law, I have to enclose this sheet. So I am just passing a cylindrical surface. This is cylinder coming backward from this side. So I have passed a cylinder. Here this cylinder is Gaussian surface. It is an imaginary surface which is used to enclose the charge. So this small area which I have considered, I have enclosed this area with the help of cylinder. Now I have to just see the electric flux. Now look at the two surface. First look on this surface. If I draw the area vector will be drawn perpendicular and outward, and the direction of electric field will be also in same direction. So this will be the direction of electric field. Angle is 0. If we talk about the back side, if we consider this area, for this also area vector will be in this direction, and electric field will be also in this direction. It is a positive charge, so consider it a positive charge. So electric field move in this direction also, and electric field move in this direction also. So I have to take the flux. So if we talk about the net flux, so net flux will be integration S1 vector E dot dA plus integration S2 vector E dot dA. What are? So these are the surface S1 and S2. I haven't take the curved surface because for curved surface area vector and electric field are perpendicular. So cos 90 is 0. So I haven't take this curved surface. I had considered only these two surfaces because electric field is crossing the surface perpendicular. I have already told we consider for electric flux, we only consider the surface which are perpendicular. So just solve the flux for these two surface. For the first surface is also theta 0, and for the second surface is also 0. So you will get integration of EdA cos 0 plus integration of EdA cos 0. So you will get 2 times of integration of EdA, or taking E outside, integration of A. Now if you remember, this is complete area is A, so you can just write here 2 times of EA. This is our net flux, equation number first. Again, using Gauss theorem. So what does the Gauss law states? According to Gauss law, net flux is total charge divided by epsilon naught. Both the equations is representing the net flux. So equating equation first and second. On equating equation first and second, you will get 2 times of EA total charge divided by epsilon naught. So your electric field equals to Q upon 2 epsilon naught times of A. Now if you remember, we know about one property, that is surface charge density, because here the charge is distributed on the surface. So surface charge density is sigma equals to Q by A. So replacing this quantity with sigma, so your electric field equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So this is the electric field due to infinite charge conducting sheet. For non-conducting sheet, infinite charge non-conducting sheet, your electric field is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Look this formula very carefully. In this formula, electric field does not depend on distance r. There is no relation between electric field and distance r. So suppose if I draw two plots. First plot is representing electric field with distance r. As there is no relation between them, so we just take a straight line. Many times this graph has been asked, draw the electric field and distance variation for infinite charge conducting sheet. So for infinite charge non-conducting sheet, they do not depend. So E is just a straight line. And if I have to draw electric field with sigma, so E and sigma linear depends on each other. So this was for non-conducting sheet. Now move to the third one and we will solve it for conducting sheet. Let's move to the third one. So here we have to find electric field due to an infinite charge, but this time I am taking conducting sheet. Okay, so let us consider a conducting sheet. Now suppose this is a conducting sheet, and remember, we know that conducting sheet means a conductor and the charge inside the conductor. If you remember, the charge inside the conductor is always 0. There is no charge present inside the conductor. So whatever the charge I am giving to this body, it will remain only on the surface. There will be no charge inside the conductor. So again, this is an infinite sheet. So I take a small section. Let the small section be of area A. And to enclose this section, again I have to consider a Gaussian cylinder. So I'd consider this Gaussian cylinder. This cylinder is enclosing this area. Now see, we haven't passed the cylinder inside this, because remember, the net charge inside the sheet is 0. So where there is no charge, I cannot consider the Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface is only considered where there is some charge present. Since inside the conductor there is no charge, so I haven't considered the this surface inside the sheet. So if there is no charge, so I can say that the net electric field will be 0. If there is no charge inside the conductor, there will be no electric field inside this. So we just take only one surface. We just consider for this surface only. For this surface, area vector is also outward and your electric field will be outward. Both are in same direction with theta 0. We haven't take this curved surface. You remember, the curved surface area vector is upward, electric field is towards the right. Again 90 degree, cos 90 0. So no need to consider. So net flux equals to integration of vector E dot dA. So there is only one surface. So it will be E dA cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So you will get integration of E dA. The integration of dA will be A, because I have considered total area is A. So according to the concept, net flux is E times of A. Now again we will use Gauss law. So we won't apply directly Gauss law. First we use the concept of flux and then we use the concept of Gauss, and then we equate the equations. So according to the Gauss, net flux is defined as total charge divided by epsilon naught. equation number 2. So again equating equation first and second, you will get E A equals to Q by epsilon naught, or you can also write it E equals to Q by epsilon naught times of A. Now this time remember, again we talk about surface charge density. Surface charge density sigma equals to Q by A. Now see, Q by A can be replaced with sigma. So Q by A can be replaced with sigma. So electric field equals to sigma by epsilon naught. There is very little much difference in both the derivation. In my earlier derivation, it was sigma by 2 epsilon. Now here, when I am solving up for conducting sheet, when we are solving for conducting sheet, electric field is sigma by epsilon naught. Again, we can take two plot. If we plot for E versus R, there is no dependency, so straight line. If we plot with E versus sigma, direct relation, so an inclined line. So this was the derivation for non-conducting sheet. Let's move to the next one. Actually, I am thinking if I conclude that other two application in this video, it will get quite longer. So in this video, we will cover only these 3 application, and the remaining 2 application I will cover in my next video. It's my request to you, please watch these 2 videos very carefully, write the notes of these 2 videos, because application of Gauss law is very important in all the board examinations. So just watch it, make the notes of this, and the remaining 2 I will cover in my next video. So remember to watch that also. Thank you. And yes, you can download all this from the PDF description, PDF link given in the description box. Thank you.